We're at the point of the offseason where everybody has a list for absolutely everything. And on today's show, we're going to react to ESPN saying the New York Giants have the 23rd best roster in the National Football League. As you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, I am your host, Marshall Green, and we are presented by Prize Picks. Use that promo code HMA, play your first $5 lineup, and get $50 instantly. I've read a lot of ESPN articles recently, and they all are sleeping on the New York Football Giants. They've got Jaxson Dart as a bottom 10 quarterback, the Giants as a bottom 11 team in the NFL. If you're tired of ESPN sleeping on Big Blue, hit that thumbs up icon. A deep dive by ESPN on the New York Giants roster, and they also revealed the starting lineup for this football team. They said the biggest strength, the biggest position group of strength for Big Blue is their edge rushers. And not a hot take. I actually agree with them on this. They wrote this saying, quote, the Giants' 41.3% pass rush win rate ranked 5th in the NFL last season, and the entirety of their elite edge trio is back for 2026. Brian Burns is the headliner after finishing second to only Myles Garrett with 16.5 sacks last season. Abdul Carter was as advertised as a rookie, finishing 7th in the NFL with 53 pass rush wins. Kayvon Thibodeaux's production was down with the addition of Carter, but he is as good as you'll find for a third edge rusher. They didn't mention the injuries for Kayvon for some reason. Number 5 overall pick, Arvell Reese, will focus on off-ball linebacker, but he'd be the top edge rusher on a lot of teams and will get some pass rush work too. So even though I feel like they missed the boat by not saying why Kayvon's production was low, I do agree with them that the Giants' best position group right now is their pass rushers, and also mentioning that Arvell Reese is someone that's going to give some juice to this room. Why can the Giants not lead the National Football League in sacks this year? They should. Brian Burns, one of the highest paid players, if not the highest paid player now on the team. Abdul Carter, a number 3 overall pick. Kayvon Thibodeaux, a number 5 overall pick. And you add in Arvell Reese and even Chauncey Golston. He is handsomely paid for a 4th edge rusher. There's been a lot of talk over the last 2 years of this group needs to be this group has to do this. Like, this group has so much potential. It's time for the word potential to be turned into production. It's time for this group of Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Chauncey Golston, and Arvell Reese. They need to be game wreckers. Every single Sunday when we sit down, put our Giants jerseys on and watch this team play, we need to be leaving the game saying they couldn't block us. We dominated them up front, and we made the opposing quarterback's life hell every single week. If the Giants can do that, which they should, this team could be playing meaningful football games in January. I've been wondering this over the last couple of weeks. Went on talking Giants with my guy Justin Pinnock, and I said I think Abdul Carter is going to lead the team in sacks this year. Who do you think has more sacks this year? Is it Spider-Man Burns? Is it Abdul Carter? Type the jersey number of the player you think ends the season with more sacks. We'll keep going chalk across the board from ESPN. They listed the biggest weakness for the New York Giants as their defensive tackle group. We were worried about this group prior to trading Dexter Lawrence. Then they did trade Dexter Lawrence. And they didn't draft anybody until round 6 and Bobby James and Travis, who I have some hope for. But I do agree, their biggest weakness are the big guys up front on defense. ESPN writing, New York is doing its best to patch up the position after trading away superstar Dexter Lawrence. It's a tough assignment after the Giants ranked 28th in the NFL in run-stop win rate last season with Dexter Lawrence. Offseason signing Roy Robertson Harris already tore his Achilles. That was last year, by the way. Leaving DJ Reader and Shelby Harris as potential starters. Both are 32 years of age. And the likes of Darius Alexander and Lecky Fotu are still there. It is what it is. This is who you got. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk anymore. The hope is DJ Reader still has gas left in the tank. Shelby Harris can be a serviceable player. And Darius Alexander takes a step and plays like the guy that was picked at the top of round 3. That was expected to be a plug-and-play player at Toledo, considering he is 25 years old. Can you get anything from Sam Roberts? If Lecky Fotu makes this team, can you get anything from him? And does Bobby Jamison-Travis have anything to give in his rookie season? I don't think anybody is expecting the defensive tackle room to be world beaters or game changers or a position group that elevates the New York Giants. It comes down to this. Can they be good enough? I don't know what that is. I don't know what the measuring stick of good enough is, but can they be good enough? Because there is talent around them on defense, the edge rushers, the inside linebackers. There are multiple top-round picks at safety and corner. If they can be good enough, this Giants defense, in my opinion, could be a top 10 unit in the NFL. A lot more to talk about on today's show, but if you want to go watch the New York Football Giants this year, get your tickets with SeatGeek. They are the place to get your tickets. When I'm buying tickets to a sporting event, a concert, a theater event, a stand-up comedy show, the best place and the only place I go to is SeatGeek. And if you're watching the show right now, got a special deal for you. When you use the promo code CHAT10, you're going to get 10% off your next set of tickets. You can go to week 1. Giants-Cowboys. Tickets are already on sale, and there's some pretty good deals out there. I like how SeatGeek highlights the good deals. As you can see over there, the tickets with the green dots next to them, the best deals. The red dots, like a stop sign. You probably don't want to go after those tickets, as right now they're probably not the best value. Shout out to SeatGeek for making today's show possible, being our sponsor, and hooking up the real ones with 10% off their next set of tickets. Just download the app, use the promo code CHAT10, or you can click the link that is in the comments and description of today's show. Shout out to SeatGeek. We appreciate them. The X Factor highlighted by ESPN was Isaiah Likely. We'll have a full X Factor video coming up on the channel this week, and I'll let you know that Isaiah Likely is going to be a part of that. They wrote, with Malik Nabers' health in question to start the season, the Giants are going to need at least one other pass catcher to step up in a big way. The wide receiver group has pretty limited upside, but likely still has some promise of becoming a star-level tight end. Now, out from Mark Andrews' shadow, is this the season Likely finally hits his ceiling? That doesn't even make sense. Now that he's out of the shadow, can he finally do it? Like he's messed up or has not capitalized on his opportunities up to this point. If you've been watching this channel for quite some time, we did a video in the Isaiah Likely draft where I had him as one of my sleepers. Had some inside info. One of my best friends played college football at Coastal Carolina. He was an upperclassman when Isaiah Likely was just a new kid on the block, and he told me, this guy's special. He's going to be a good player in the league. Followed his career, had some splash moments for Coastal Carolina, and here he is now with the New York Giants. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's an underrated route runner. I think he's got some wiggle to him after the catch. His catch radius is crazy. He's an upside athlete. I'm a big fan of his, and I actually believe he's going to lead the Giants in receiving touchdowns this year. That's one of my bold takes coming up for the Giants this upcoming season. I think Isaiah Likely is the real deal, and now that he is out of the shadow, he's going to have a big year. Not finally. He will. Very weird wording by ESPN on that. They also mentioned Darius Alexander as the non-starter to know on this football team. We did the same video last year on the channel, so I went back and looked at it, and the non-starter to know that ESPN mentioned last year, Cordell Flott. Good pull by them. Hopefully, Darius Alexander can have a similar season that Cordell Flott does, because if that happens, this Giants defense is going to be really good, and the biggest weakness would not be the defensive tackle room. ESPN saying the 2025 third-round pick is likely to be the third defensive lineman when the Giants are in their 3-4 base. Last season, Alexander had 3.5 sacks and made 13 run tackles with an average gain of 2.1 yards. Scouts Inc. had Alexander ranked as a late first-round talent before the 2025 draft. He can stack and shed blocks and plays well against double teams. That's what you need. I remember on draft day, when we got to day 2 of the NFL draft, I was begging for the New York Giants to select Darius Alexander. I was extremely high on him, as were a lot of people coming out of Toledo. And he's 25 years old. I'm not saying it is now or never for him, but he does need to produce. And if he doesn't, I think we'll be having a different conversation this time next year around him. There were splash moments last year. There were eye-popping plays. There were sacks and reps where you're like, okay, I see why this guy was a top 70 pick, and he was someone that people thought could have even been a first-round selection. Just needs to tighten it up. I thought he got better as the season went on, and I think that's sometimes a good predictor of future success for young players. But if this player right here can live up to the hype, that gives you 3 solid defensive tackles, and that would make this defense pretty damn legit. I am going to ask everybody that's watching today's video if you could please subscribe to the channel. I also host our Knicks channel here at Chat Sports. And Knicks now has officially passed Giants now in subscribers. I get it. We're NBA champions. We went on a finals run. But football season's around the corner. And I want to get to 110,000 subs ASAP on this channel. So if you love the Giants, want free videos every day, and watch parties for every game day, hit that sub button right now. Coming up next, we'll go over the 11 starters on offense and the 11 starters on defense that ESPN is projecting for the New York Giants. I think it's always good to kind of look at the depth chart as we kind of get closer and closer to training camp. Let's go ahead and jump into it right now. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Quarterback Jaxson Dart, running back Cam Skattebo. We'll stop right there. I thought that it was interesting that Skattebo was named the starter. I don't think that that's the wrong thing, but if I were to ask the question, what running back is going to have more carries per game this year? So that will factor in injuries and games played. Is it going to be Cam Skattebo, or is it going to be Tyrone Tracy? I think it'll be Cam Skattebo, but I was really impressed by the way Tyrone Tracy ended the season last year. I thought he ran with more physicality, and I thought he showed some burst late in the season last year. I do think it is going to be a split backfield. I think if all things remain equal and games played are close, that Skattebo will be the true RB1, but I won't be shocked if Tyrone Tracy kind of does more with his opportunities this year. I think they're the best running back duo in the division, and maybe the most slept-on duo of offensive playmakers that this league has right now. 2 starting tight ends. They have Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson. I think that's pretty damn safe. 3 starting wide receivers for the New York Giants per ESPN: Malik Nabers, Darnell Mooney, and Darius Slayton. The only reason I would push back on this one a little bit is Malik Nabers going to start in the slot? If you do go with a 3 wide receiver set, is Darnell Mooney going to slide in the slot? That's not really his forte. He can do that. Malik Nabers can do that. Darius Slayton can do that. But if we're saying who the starting slot wide receiver is, if you told me it was Isaiah Likely, I would believe you. But I think Calvin Austin is probably the guy that has a foot ahead of everybody else in that race right now. I think these are the 3 best wide receivers on the Giants and will probably lead the team in usage and production. But Calvin Austin, I think he'll be the starting slot receiver unless we see Malik Nabers slide in that role. And it could obviously be Isaiah Likely as well. To the offensive line, straight chalk here. Nothing wrong with this at all. Andrew Thomas, John Runyan, JMS, Francis Maui-Noah, and Jermaine Illuminor. I agree with all that. And if Francis Maui-Noah can live up to being a top 10 pick, Andrew Thomas stays healthy, Jermaine Illuminor gives you a productive season, this can be a top 15 offensive line in the NFL and maybe even a top 10 O-line in the NFL. I think Andrew Thomas is the best left tackle in football. If someone wants to tell me someone else like Trent Williams or somebody else, I'll hear it. But if you say he's not top 5, I'm going to question if you actually watch this sport. And if you have one of the best left tackles in football, and you have a top 10 right tackle in football, and you have an up-and-coming right guard, and a center that continues to get better and better each year, you're going to be one of the better units of football. And how cool would that be for Giants fans, us, to finally celebrate a really good O-line? Last time we did that, we won 2 Super Bowls. A lot more to come on today's show. Make sure you are hooked up with our presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. If you like making money and you like watching sports and you want to do both at the same time, you get hooked up with Prize Picks. Just use that promo code HMA, and when you pay your first $5, you're going to get $50 instantly in lineups. One thing I love about Prize Picks is their social feed feature. It makes it almost like a social app. You can give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_. Last time we did this, I had 103 followers. Somehow I now have 195 followers. Major shout out to y'all. Let's break 200. Go give me a follow on Prize Picks at @MarshallGreen_. You can easily roll with or fade my lineups with just one click of a button. So check them out. Use that promo code HMA, play your first $5 lineup, and get $50 instantly. They've already got some options for some season-long plays on Prize Picks. I'm taking the more on Jaxson Dart passing touchdowns, less on Dak Prescott passing yards, and Jalen Hurts, less on his rushing touchdowns as the tush push has officially been patched. Check them out. Use that promo code HMA, play $5, get $50 instantly. Let's go to the defensive side of the football. I'm A-okay with all of this. No pushback for me here. Reader, Harris, Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeaux. What I will say about this is how often and how creatively will Denard Wilson get all 5 of these guys on the field at the same time? It's clear. These are your best 5 defensive linemen. Last year, Shane Bowen struggled to get all the best Giants players on the field at the same time. Denard Wilson, he has to do that this year because these are your best players. And if you want to win football games, you got to have your best players be the best players and your best players to play alongside your best players. These 5 guys got to carry this football team. You go to the inside linebacker room here. Arvell Reese, Tremaine Edmonds, chalk. Those are your inside linebackers. Big upgrade here for the New York Giants. You go from Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, who plays one game, essentially Bobby Okereke and Darius Musow. Edmonds is better than Okereke, respectfully. Okereke's not even in the NFL right now. Could get signed, probably will get signed. But Arvell Reese is miles better than Darius Musow. And now you have Micah McFadden as your third-string inside linebacker instead of a guy that plays every single snap of every single game. To the defensive backfield we go. They have Paulson Adebo, Greg Newsome, and Drew Phillips as the 3 corners. Drew Phillips in the slot. I do think it is a legit position battle for that CB2 spot that they currently have Greg Newsome in. He's going to be battling with Deonte Banks, who a lot of people have had some nice things to say. Colton Hood is in there as well. And I also think Drew Phillips is going to have to battle with Ardarius Washington for that spot. John Harbaugh brought Washington here. He clearly likes him. And I think that spot is up for grabs. Javon Holland and Tyler Nubin, I think it's safe to say those are the starters at this point. But I do think 3 safety looks are going to be a part of this defense this year. So we've just gone through 22 starters, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. I now want to ask you this question because the ESPN had the Giants ranked as the 23rd best roster. Where does the Giants roster rank in your opinion, 1 to 32? I'm going top 20. I truly do believe that. 1, this Giants team got better on paper. They got better on paper compared to last year. And that team last year was able to compete and build leads, in double-digit leads consistently. And the roster is 1,000% better this year. I'll go top 20, somewhere from 15 to 20, I think is fair. I don't think it's the most outlandish thing to say they're the 23rd best roster. You just picked 5th in the NFL draft, but I'll go top 20. And I think they're going to end up making the playoffs this year. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon and go give me a follow on social media at @MarshallGreen_.